really want to thank all the panelists, but also you all for coming together for this discussion. A few reminders and I guess key points that I take away. One is that millions of dollars don't always have similar impact or proportionate impact, and that public diplomacy is not the right avenue for engaging with people, and that certainly hearing voices is important, not just sending a message to people. Of course, that democracy is not alien to people in North Africa and the Middle East, that we do not have to teach anything. But what is a reality is that a lot of the brave voices, some of whom are unknown, may not have many Twitter followers at all, are targeted, and we have to think about ways to keep them safe in the broadest sense of the word. The diversity among people, the diversity among voices is already a reality, and the internet has given more opportunity to amplify these voices, has provided alternative avenues for communications, and has broken through some traditional monopolies that have served propaganda well, but of course propaganda can also come through these new channels. Something important that I feel like we have to keep emphasizing is that unfortunately the lines between open and closed societies are not always so clear. And that has to do with the fact that too often security and freedom do become zero-sum, also in our democracies. And I think that that particularly impacts the media. We've seen horrible examples in the United Kingdom, for example, of hard drives of a major newspaper being destroyed under the eyes of an intelligence service. So we really have to think about where we stand ourselves. Indeed, what I take away, and I think we should be reminded of in politics, where we always deal with the more boring and less sexy policies, that fun is important, and that there are so many exciting creative plans that are there to be seen and enjoyed. Another thought I take away is that media cannot be left to the market, that it needs funding, and that we should acknowledge the fact that there is more than ever opportunity for horizontal connections between people, and that the organization and power structures are no longer vertical or along the lines of the nation state. When it comes to EU policy, we have to be legitimate, trusted, and credible. I think that is clear. That also means we have to be even more ambitious in mainstreaming expression, media freedom, journalism in our programs, and make sure that it's accessible, not only for the large, well-known organizations, but also for small, local organizations, for new players, for startups, for exciting new ideas. I think we have to be much more active in building local capacity, and that also means that if you have a funding application of 60 pages in English, that may not actually help accessibility. I fundamentally believe we have to build a strong digital agenda, revive the digital agenda perhaps, and make sure that the EU leverages its digital agenda, or thinking about the open internet on the global stage. This relates to issues like internet governance and digital freedoms as elements of universal human rights. Our credibility is directly undermined if there is too much of a gap between what we do at home and what we tell otherwise, or when we say that we're going to do something and we don't. So that we have conditionality in, for example, trade agreements, and we actually never come back to it once the trade flows are going fine. I do believe that this Parliament has a particular role to play. Of course, we are aware of the real interests, whether they're strategic or economic or otherwise, but I think that in this House, and also as individual members, we have more freedom to address specific issues and to keep banging the drum for more respect for human rights, more attention for media freedom, etc. So I think that we are complementary in the EU institutions, but this Parliament has a particular role, not in the least because you all, with your diverse thoughts, are likely to find someone among the 750 members that sit here that you can roughly agree with, and that can take on your interests specifically. So in closing, let's agree that this important agenda needs more work, and that we are all too aware in Europe that our democracy is not perfect, and that ideals require daily work, and I think we should be aware also of the sensitivities around working with people. It's very easy to say the EU should do more, the EU should do more, the EU should do more, but I've met all too many activists in various countries who are afraid to be associated with EU funding, afraid to be seen with EU politicians, and the fact that they are targeted probably also shows that there is some impact in what we're trying to do. But we should be aware of the sensitivities. So that's all I have to say. Thank you all so much. Have a